Well, hey there, all you internet people, fine YouTubers of the world. Sinister Minister coming at you again with another road vlog. This time, I'm going to talk about something that's a little near and dear to my heart, unfortunately, something some of us all might go through. I've gone through it. Me and my wife have gone through it. It's never fun, but it is sometimes a fact of life, and that's bankruptcy. Ooh, bankruptcy. That's horrible. How do people end up in bankruptcy? And the most people probably thinking, oh, well, you take a bunch of credit cards, charge up a bunch of shit, and don't pay it, and all that. Yeah, that's a definite possibility. That happens a lot. A lot of people, get a bunch of credit cards, charge up a bunch of shit, can't pay it. Maybe you had a house, couldn't pay your mortgage. That's another way. And then of course there's different types of bankruptcies you can file: Chapter 7, Chapter 11, Chapter 13. It just depends on your individual situation. None of it's fun, all of it's horrible, but again, you got yourself into a situation, you had to get yourself out of it. Sometimes there's no other way than to go through a bankruptcy. So I'll provide you, my quick, simplistic, non-complicated, well, it is kind of complicated to some degree, but my story, and provide you a little bit of information about what to expect if you're going to file bankruptcy, or you have filed one and you just you can relate to this situation. Basically, we had to file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy because of unpaid federal taxes. Federal and state. I think state was part of some of it, but primarily federal. And basically, you see all these celebrities and stuff that go to jail or get in trouble because, that's what happens. If you don't pay your federal taxes, they will come literally knocking at your door and do everything they can to get their money. Now, my whole take on the whole federal IRS, the federal taxes, I think that's 100% illegal. I think it's unconstitutional for a plethora of reasons. There's been a lot of cases and a lot of information on the internets and the interwebs proving that federal income tax is illegal. But like a lot of things, because everybody agrees to do it, and government and everything forces people to do it, so they have to do it. Anyways, so basically what happens is we started our business in 2006, and we weren't making a lot of money. And, we were just trying to survive. And, when you're only making like $300 a week or whatever, and you got bills and rent and stuff to pay, and you got to eat and everything, well, then you can't exactly, take care of all your bills and everything else, and then, necessarily pay the taxes you might owe. So, so from 2006 to like 2009, I think 9 or 10, I can't remember at this point, it's been so long ago. Basically, we didn't pay taxes for like the first 4 years we were in business. Now that seems horrible, and it was, but basically we weren't making enough to cover everything. That's the bottom line truth. And I had to file an affidavit with the IRS, pretty much explaining the same thing. We just weren't making enough. It wasn't like we were completely ignorant to the fact that we had to pay taxes. You just didn't have enough. But here's the goocher. Here's where you get in trouble. It's when you don't file. And that was our thing. We did not file. So we didn't file for 2006, 7, 8, and 9. So 4 years. So we didn't file at all. And what happened was, so we didn't file in about 2010, roughly around that time. We were getting, of course, the mailman would bring us stacks of certified letters looking for returns, looking for this, looking for money, looking for everything. Because, we're 1099 through our clients. So the money we were making was being reported. It just, we weren't filing on our side of it. So of course, at this point, when you're getting stacks, and I do mean a stack like this of certified letters, you start to get scared, and you start to wonder, oh my God, what's going to happen? what do we do now? We're in too deep. What's going to happen? If we call them up or if we reach out to somebody for help, we're going to go to jail. We have 4 years of unpaid. We don't know the extent of the damage that we caused, but nonetheless. So we and of course, like I said, at that point you're you're screwed. You're not living in hiding, but you kind of are, and all that stuff. So basically, we reached out to a place. We found one of those ads you see online. This was a local place that says, hey, we'll help fix your tax problems, and if you have unpaid taxes, we can correct them, and this, that, and the other. So we went and signed a contract and worked with this. It was basically an accountant. Turns out later he wasn't an accountant. Turns out later he's a scumbag shyster who we've actually had a lawsuit. We had litigation to take him to court because he caused a lien on our business. That's a whole nother freaking topic of conversation. But so we went to this guy to help fix us. So we were scared too, even going to him. Like we made an appointment and we went in there and he was like, all right, what's your situation? And we told him, and we were like, look, man, we were really scared and we thought they were going to lock us up and then throw away the key. I mean, they were going to put us into jail. We were fessing up. We screwed up. We know we screwed up. We didn't deliberately mean to do what we did, but we were just in a situation where, we weren't making enough. We were trying to survive and this and that. And, we didn't pay. But the bigger thing is that we didn't file. That's what they were looking for. They were looking for the fines. So here's a little pro tip for you. Even if you owe and can't afford to pay, file. They'll send you letters and they'll look for it. And actually, you can work. There's payment plans you can work out, to fit your situation. But the problem is if you do not file, that's the bitch. That's where they get you, because that's when they get you with penalties and interest for not filing on time and all kinds of mess. But they want that return. That's the key. So even if you can't pay, you're going to owe and you can't afford it, file anyways. Trust me on this. You must file and deal with it later. Believe me. You'll be better off, because if you put your head in the sand and you pretend like you don't owe and you do, and you try to hide, believe me, it doesn't matter. They will find you. So we hired this guy to get our taxes filed, which he did. He got 2006, 7, 8, and 9 filed. Of course, we owe and all this stuff now. And since then, 2010 and 2011, we should have been on top of it, because we had already approached this guy. He had got us filed for the previous years. And but we're going forward now, 2010, 2011, all this, we're going to be straight going forward. And we were, to some degree. We certainly provided the information to be filed. But anyway, so he filed all this stuff, and then we were like, okay, now what? Well, then you have to do what they call an offer compromise, which is basically, now this is not a bankruptcy, this is going through the government, an offer compromise based on, what's your situation, what you owe, and how much, you're going to have to pay, to work it out in a payment arrangement. That's through the government. So 2010, I give him my taxes, say, okay, here you go. We're going to have to owe for 2010 because we didn't hold any money back and stuff. And if you watch my other vlog about small business, you'll know I say numerous times, make sure you're putting 40% away for your taxes and any other, expenses and stuff like that. So, so we knew we were going to owe for 2010. And that's fine. And I think at that point, it was probably at the end of 2010 or 2011. I honestly can't remember. But ultimately, we were going to owe taxes from 2006 through 2011. So, okay, fine. So, at the end of 2011, 2012, we get a visit from, and of course this guy we should have filed 2010 and 2011 on time, because we gave this accountant our stuff and said, we're going to be good, we're going to file on time, we're going to owe, but we're going to at least file on time going from 2010 forward. So we gave him the stuff. Here you go, file our stuff. And okay, so 2012, we get a visit from the IRS, and I do mean a lady showed up at my door with a badge, wanting to come in my house, saying she's looking for the returns for 2010 and 2011. And I was like flabbergasted. Now, for one, I had a power of attorney with the accountant guy, so I really shouldn't have been talking to the IRS, and I didn't. I called him immediately and said, "Hey, man, I got an IRS lady sitting on my porch looking for these returns, 2010 and 2011." And okay, so they talked and everything like that. So we had to have a meeting with the IRS, and we did. I went to the IRS, the local IRS office, sat down. The guy said, "Yeah, they were filed electronically. We'll figure it out, and we'll get you the copies and all that stuff." Well, I'll jump forward for a second. He didn't. They didn't file those on time, and that's what caused a lien on my business. And I had a subsequent. Then, of course, that's what I'm taking him to court for, is because he caused over a $10,000 lien on my business because his negligence to file those on time, which he should have, because he had everything. We in turn in 2012 then had a rush, went to another guy, had to get those years filed to get them filed. And basically, since 2012, we've been straight and paid in full with the IRS, done everything correctly. So now we got this gap. We got 2006 through 2011 now, where we owe these taxes. It's tens of thousands of dollars. We owe the IRS. We owed the state. We didn't put money aside like we were supposed to. We really didn't know what we were doing. I mean, we started a business that was becoming successful, and we just didn't know how to handle the money side of it like you should. I mean, like I said, running a small business isn't just sitting back, getting paid, and having to, collect paychecks and enjoy life. There's a lot of fundamentals that you're not used to when you're going from working a normal job to, running your own business. So inevitably, so then the IRS, of course, now they're really looking for it. Now we filed all those years. Now they're looking for all the money. Now we had a little bit of credit card debt. And not much. I think it was like $3 or $4 on like stupid past due cell phone bills and just dumb stuff between me and my wife. Not even a lot. So at that point we were like, we got to file. What can we do? So we called up a guy. My one buddy had filed a bankruptcy and said maybe bankruptcy is the answer. Just figure out how to get rid of all this stuff. I mean, we screwed up. We know we did. With the tax thing and some of our credit and stuff, but how that's what people do. Hell, I had a sister-in-law that filed bankruptcy, and she had a house and everything, and free and clear. So we went to a lawyer on a recommendation, and he said what you can do is you can file Chapter 13. Now, Chapter 6, I think, or Chapter 7 is when it's a complete wash. You don't pay anything. It's just a wash. Chapter 13 is different because if you have unpaid federal taxes, and maybe state too, but definitely unpaid federal taxes, it can't be a wash. You will have to pay some of that back. So that's when they do a Chapter 13, where they figure out obviously a percentage of that. So you're going to pay less of the total of what you owed, but you will pay something. So, then, you got to file. So you file for a Chapter 13, they want to know, well, hell, you know what? I'm going to go hop in. I got to stop in here. Actually, I'm at a courthouse right now. I got to go, dismiss a small claims case because a guy paid us. We had to take it to court. And I'm going to run in here real quick, and I'll be right back, and then I'll continue this conversation. All right, so we had to file Chapter 13. So basically what that means is, they're going to take all your debt and put it in a pool, and then they're going to figure out how much you can pay back on that debt, and figure out obviously a smaller percentage of it, and then you're going to make a payment every month for probably like 5 years, I think it is. So so obviously you have to go to a lawyer to do this. It cost me the first time I've done it twice, and I'll briefly explain that. So the first time we went there, I think it was like $1,000, which is kind of messed up because you're kind of like, well, I'm already kind of in trouble and don't have much money, but they got to do all the filing stuff. So it cost me it was $1,000 or $1,100 or something like that. It was a little pricey. So did that, and of course, when you're filing, they want to know everything. They want to know how much you make, what your expenses are, everything. Because I can tell you this right now, they want to get as much money out of you as possible after all your bills are paid. So, if you, whatever you make per month, say you make $5,000 a month, okay, and your bills are $3,000 a month, all your bills, and they factor in, meals and food and all that stuff. So then that leaves you with $2,000 left over every month. They're going to want that $2,000. Period. There is not going to be, oh, well, what about a rainy day? What about, if my car breaks down? They don't give a shit. If that's what you have left over after your basic expenses, that's what they're going to want. So if you have a good lawyer, it's not working the numbers, but you gotta give you a little wiggle room. So you gotta factor in, okay, well, maybe you spend a little more on this, spend a little less on that, whatever. Factor it in, so you're not giving them every last cent, although that's what they're gonna want. So our first payment, keeping in mind, I think we owed like $80,000 in past due taxes, and like I said, about $4,000 in regular debt or whatever, credit card debt and stuff. They got it down to like $35,000, something like that, and we were gonna have to pay like $1,000 for 5 years, $1,000 a month for 5 years, and then at the end of that, we would be debt free. I mean, that's it. It's done. Now, we had money left over. Now, here's not a little trick, but here's just something to think about. Now, we had a little bit of money left over. We had I forget how much we had left over, $800 or something like that. And the guy asked me, my lawyer, he said, do you guys need a new car? And I said, well, yeah, I mean, actually we do. We had an old Cadillac, and it just broke down. It literally, days before, just took a crap. Electrical disaster. Not going to pay to get it fixed anymore. Just took a shit. So I said, yeah, actually, our Cadillac just went down. He said, go to a dealership and get a new car, because what that's going to do is that's going to be a payment. So if you had $800 left over, but you go get a car note, and that's $350, well, now it's only going to be $450 or whatever the subtraction is. You know what I mean? So you're eating up whatever you had left over. And I thought it was crazy. I'm like, what? So we literally left the lawyer's office that day, and it was in January, I think, of 2013. We left there and went to a car dealership. We didn't get a new car, but we did get a 2010 Dodge Avenger. Now, they wanted to sell us 2 cars. They could have got us 2 cars. The dealership. They knew our situation and everything else. They knew we were in bankruptcy and all that stuff. They understood, and they were going to get us 2. In hindsight, I really wish I'd have taken them up on the 2-car thing. I figured 1 was enough, and that's really all we needed. So at any rate, so we pretty much walked. We didn't get the car that day, but we next day or whatever, we got a new, at that point it was only like 3 years old. And so at the end of the bankruptcy, once we paid it off, then we would be debt free, and we'd have a newer vehicle, because that's being paid off within the bankruptcy. So this sounded like a great deal, and it was, and it is. It's a good situation. I mean, if that's your situation, that's your situation. So we're paying $1,000 a month for a couple years, but we just had a kid, and our business went, fluctuates as it does, and it was fluctuating lower than I'd like to be comfortable with, and it was really putting a squeeze on us to make, because I'm also paying insurance. I got $800, for Obamacare bullshit, on top of rent and all these other bills and everything else, so making that $1,000 payment was becoming difficult. So what we had to do is we called the lawyer and told him, I said, look, I got a kid now. I asked him too. I said, well, the fact that we have a kid, will they be able to lower the payment? And he said, nah, not by much, maybe $20. I'm like, this kid's costing me more than $20 a month. So they said that they, you could always, I told her the business was kind of light and stuff. I gave you, I didn't exaggerate it because it was true and I can document it. But, it was just, we were getting pushed, you're being squeezed pretty good. So, he said, well, you can dismiss it and refile. And that's exactly what we did. We just went to court a couple days ago, which prompted me to make this video. So, and of course, now our new payment's going to be like $200 less. But they're all, the courts, the trustee and the courts are all pissy because they're like, well, we want to see a projected thing because, you're going to be paying less and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, well, it's only $200. If they're making it sound like it's like $1,000 less than what our original payment was, it's $200. Do you want a regular payment or do you want me to go on the lam or something? Like, what do you want me to do here? So, we're trying to work it out. But let me tell you, they want to know everything. It's the thing I don't really like about it is not the fact that we screwed up. We admitted we screwed up. We made a huge mistake and we're paying for it. That's the thing. We are paying for our mistake going through the system, But what I hate about it is the picking and the prodding, and they want to know so much personal information, which I understand to some degree, but it's just like, you're doing the best you can. We're not multi-millionaires, just because we run a business. It's, we're middle class, hardworking people, and they just want to like just get under your nails, under your underwear, under everything, and just pick and prod at you as to how much money you got. They want every last red cent. Now, how the government, they'll fucking, piss trillions of dollars away in war and all this other bullshit. But, a regular Mo like me, get into a little situation. I'll put it to you this way. Okay, all the banks, 2008, that fucked people out all their money and then asked for a bailout. The bankers got a bailout, and then they were still giving themselves bonuses and flying around in Lear jets. Where's my bailout? That's my bitch about it. Like, if it's not equal. It's just not. You can make, billion-dollar banks can make billion-dollar mistakes and walk away from it free and clear. I make, tens of thousands of dollars, less than $100,000, clearly less than $100,000, a mistake, and they're on my ass like white on rice. And I'm not kidding you. I mean, I've been in the IRS office numerous times before the bankruptcy. Oh my God! I mean, they know. I'm not even kidding. I'm getting ready to park, and I'll wrap this up. Come on, kid, go, so I don't run you over. The last time when I went to the IRS office, which was probably a year ago or whatever, just because I had to deal with this lien on my business, the IRS lady, who was a nice lady, they're nice. Hold on a second, damn microphone's all messed up. I'll have to edit this out. Now, the IRS lady's nice. Now, the IRS people must not have much of a sense of humor, but then again, I guess you wouldn't doing what you do. But they, when she brought our file out to open it up, I'm not even kidding. It was, can you see this in frame? Let me crane my head back. It was like a stack of stuff like this. I mean, it was gigantic. We were joking, me and my bookkeeper at the time who went with me, were like, I mean, they need to get a wheelbarrow. I mean, this is nuts. I mean, we're not like, it's like I was Al Capone or something, but had that huge, gigantic stack of stuff. And then when she left, this was the funny part, when she left to go get a copy of something, she had to gather all that shit up and hump it out of there and then bring it back, which I understand. But what did they think I was gonna do? Like we were joking, like snatch a piece off and like swallow it and be like, what? That's it's no, but they got it somewhere else copied, I'm sure, whatever. In Building 7, it was probably, copied. But they're still on my ass. But, so that's the thing. The bankruptcy, I understand it, and look, you can help it, but it's not a 7. A chapter 7 or 11 is more of a wash, where a chapter 13, you don't have that option of a wash, and you're paying back. You're just paying back a less percentage of what you owed, which is great and very helpful. because what else are you going to do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I even asked my lawyer, I said, what's the alternative to this, going through it the second time? And he was like, well, you can, not use a, bank account and deal with everything in cash, because they'll eventually go after your bank account and garnish wages and stuff. And, I just was like, man, I don't want to do that. Or I guess you could, we could go on the lam or something, I'm sure, go to frickin' Mexico or something, I don't know, for the next 5 years. Whatever. I'm not running from my problem. I just think it's just how they pick and prod. And when we just went to court and the guy was like, you sit in a little court, and it's not very, evasive or nothing. The court, once you file and they approve the fact that you're going to get a bankruptcy, then you have to go to court and just, prove who you are, I guess. But the point is, like, they're just so like, well, we need to see a projected income because we're a small business, and it's not like you get a regular paycheck, which we don't. But they want to see projected so they can see if what we're offering to pay them now is acceptable and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, man, we walked out of there so like, just like, ugh. You just feel so miserable. They pretty much humiliate you to some degree. It's not horrible. I've been in worse. But they really do make you feel like crap. Not that you don't already feel like crap. I've seen other couples sitting there waiting to go and see the judge. I mean, everybody's got their head down. It's miserable. I mean, you're not like, no matter what. I think even if you're found like a Chapter 7 or 11, you're probably, in fairly bad shape too. I mean, it's not, nobody's happy to be there, but they just, I don't know. They really humiliate you about, why you're there and what you did to get you there and stuff. And I've been open and honest about it. We just want to fix it and move forward with life. That's it. It's all we want to do, and do our best to be able to do that. When you're running a small business and your income fluctuates, I'm not trying to, live like a pauper. I mean, we work hard. We should deserve to live like have a decent, life, and not have to just, I give money. I write checks for insurance and for this bankruptcy and stuff. And it's just, we're talking thousands of freaking dollars that goes out a month on just nonsense, in my opinion. Whereas we're working hard, we should have that money. That's why, partly why I feel like, the federal income tax is just is unconstitutional and illegal. And do a little research and you might agree with me. State taxes are legit, city taxes are legit, but it's that federal tax that's just a goocher. Plus you have all kinds of other taxes when you're a small business owner. But anyways, I mean, that's kind of what you expect with a bankruptcy, at least a Chapter 13. I mean, I don't know about a 7 or 11, but I can tell you with a Chapter 13, if you're in that position where that's your only option to file, yeah, you're going to be making a payment. They're going to want to know exactly how much you make, exactly how much you spend per month, and then, you're going to have to, factor it in. So you might go get yourself a new vehicle. You might get that out of it. I mean, I'm driving around in the newest vehicle I've ever seen, or newest vehicle I've ever driven, because of a bankruptcy, which is absolutely bizarre. But that's how people ask me about it, which they really don't, because it's not a flashy car by any means. But I say, yeah, this is my bankruptcy mobile, because that's what I got. That's how I got this thing, is because I had to file bankruptcy. It's so bizarre, but well, hopefully this was helpful and educational to some people that were, either thinking about filing bankruptcy, what to expect. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them below. I'll certainly answer any questions you might have that I might not have covered. What can I say? It's not fun, but it's there for a reason. And don't be embarrassed and thinking getting a bankruptcy is all horrible. I know I've actually found lots of people I know, friends and family members, and just people I didn't expect to, that have had to file bankruptcies for one reason or another in the past. It's not that uncommon. It's not exactly pleasant, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I can tell you right now, there's worse feelings, there's worse things in the world. Again, it's not pleasant depending on your situation, but it could be a lot worse. So anyways, this is Sinister Minister. I'm going to sign off here and move on with my day. Hopefully this was, informative and helpful. And hey, we'll see you in the next video. How about that? Have yourself a lovely day.